morning. I've been called many things, some of which I can repeat, some of which I can't. But what I'm most proud of is the celebration queen. And I think we owe John and the staff a big round of applause for doing such a wonderful job. Appreciate it, and boy, this was so impressive to hear the work that you've done and what you're planning to do in the future. And so it's my pleasure to stand here before you. I am the American dream. I'm the one that had to go through a lot and did go through a lot, but here to inspire others. And so this morning I get emotional as I think about inspiration, because we have a job to do to inspire others to be more and do more. I'm going to talk to you about passion, inspiration, and excellence. And if you forget that, just say PI. Passion, inspiration, and excellence. And I always like to start most of these presentations really hitting up on, and most of my meetings hitting up on, these agreements, because they are so important in my mind when it comes to thinking about passion, inspiration, and excellence. Knowing your intent. I'm not going to read them all, but some of them, they really speak to my heart this morning. And being hard on yourself, practicing empathy is important, and then asking that question, which is what this council does really well. Why am I talking and why aren't I talking? And choosing to be inspiring and helping others to speak up when it's appropriate to do so, whether it's for natural resources or the people. And I think that's important. By ninth grade, I was introduced to my ninth grade teacher, and he also introduced me to Marvin Gaye's song, Mercy, Mercy Me. Things are not like they used to be. He said, what happened to those blue skies? And then he said, radiation in our air. And he said, fish full of mercury. And I, in the voice, said, what you talking about, Willis? Fish full of mercury. A large percentage of the protein in our diet came from the land itself and the fish. And so to hear that, he tried very hard to inspire us. Pesticides, loss of habitat, all of these things, invasive species. Now we have climate change. Many of those things were in place then. This was about 1972 when this organization was founded. But it was here too that he called us to action, just like you are being called to action now, and you were called to action then. But it was that passion, that inspiration, and that excellence that helped you get there. Now, this organization, again, I've talked about passion. John mentioned all the great things in terms of the resources that you have here and sustaining those communities. In your vision, that's your passion. Keep it coming, love. The inspiration, again, the word people is included in this, as well as communities, and I think that's important. It's talking about connectivity, and Goose Creek, one of my favorites as well, and I'll tell you more about that later, but clean rivers and working farms and forest lands, and the beautiful places for all walks of life to live there. Excellence in land and water conservation from the staff, and what a multi-generational staff that you have here, which I think we're very fortunate to see, because they're bringing great ideas to us, but they also still, I hope, listen to your elders, because Mama said, I can teach you something if you listen. You're doing great things to make sure acquisitions are done. And again, have the privilege of serving as a commissioner with the Department of Wildlife Resources, and we look to organizations like TNC and my good friend Patina and others to help us find great wildlife management areas, as well as I've worked with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in helping to acquire lands adjacent to Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge, Back Bay, many of the ones here in Virginia as well, in Rappahannock County and other places. And then the clean energy and the sustainable communities you talked about. We've talked about these data centers, and again, I think we got to find the owners of them and see how we could continue to promote them to do more work, encourage them in terms of ESG, ask them how they can help with this. This is a serious problem, particularly in Eastern Loudoun County where I am. As I close, I share with you finally my dream is that here in these 9 counties, in this region that we're working so hard to protect, that we will keep that passion, we'll keep that inspiration, we'll keep strategically visioning and doing great things, because Mama said you can dream, but one day you gotta wake up and do something. When all is said and done, sometimes more is said than done. So let's strategically think about this. Let's work together to make a difference. Let's amplify those voices of the individuals that we need for advocacy, those voices that we need for support. Let's continue to go and grow. And that's my final word. So thank you so much.